I think there is a very strong demand for oil. In fact, in 23, some people have doubts about the macro environment, but there is an increase of demand, plus more than 2 million barrels of oil extra demand in 23, and an announcement of another 1 million extra additional in 24. So there is a demand on one side, and on the other side, the supply, I would say, of course, the OPEC Plus is playing its game, and Saudi Arabia and Russia are, I would say, controlling their own supply. But I would also say that after years where investments in the oil business was a little low, we begin to see the impacts on the supply side. So not much flexibility on the supply, a good demand, and prices are going up. Of course, this is probably good for investment, because when prices are up back to $95 per barrel, I think we'll see more investments. And I know that there is a debate about, because of climate change, about oil investment, what you should invest in oil. But in fact, this is the energy of today, oil, you know, and we have demand increase. So we need to continue to invest in new fields in order to sustain the demand, and that's our responsibility. So I think we'll see more investments in coming months.
هل ترى بأنه النفط ربما اليوم الأسعار قد تخترق صعودا الحاجز النفسي المهم عند $100، وإذا كان كذلك هل ممكن أن تبقى، وما الذي يعنيه ذلك؟
I think it's possible. You know, it's not far. By the way, I think our friends of Saudi Arabia or Aramco are already selling at $100 per barrel. Even the Brent and WTI are still $5 under, but light Saudi crude is at $100. So it's possible. Having said that, you know, there is also some doubts about where the macro environment will go. Will China continue to recover or not? So it's volatile, to be honest, to say the least. Today it's high. We'll see. At a certain point, customers will complain, probably, and so maybe we'll have to manage this price not to raise too high.
توتال تعتبر الشركة الأكبر في تصدير الغاز المسال الأمريكي إلى الخارج، وأنتم لاعبون مهمون جدا بين الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية وأوروبا، يعني قمتم بتزويد أوروبا بالغاز وقت الأزمة. اليوم الأسعار ليست بالأسعار اللي ب 2019، ليست بهذا الانخفاض، ولكنها أفضل مما سبق. هل ترى اليوم برأيك مع مخزونات في أوروبا ما فوق 95% أننا قد نرى شتاء قاسي في أوروبا، أم الأزمة أصبحت خلفنا؟
I think clearly 2022 was a huge crisis, because suddenly a cut of almost 50 million tons of LNG, which were somewhere in the world to be back to Europe. So of course, I think we went over that crisis, but the market, energy market, is still fragile. Why? Because we still have this demand of LNG in Europe, which was unexpected. You know, we cut Russian gas, and in front of this demand, we don't have much increase of supply before 2026, 2027. The market is fragile. You know, this summer there was rumors about strikes in Australia in some LNG plant, and we've seen the price in Europe going up by 30%. So the market is fragile. It will depend on the winter. If the winter is mild, it's okay. If the winter is cold, we could see the price going up again, because in fact in Europe we have a lack of storage. We don't have enough storage to go through the whole winter. From 26, 27, there will be more supply of LNG, including from the US. So probably the market will be easier for European gas.
توتال أعلنت عن استراتيجية 2023 منذ أيام قليلة، تحدثت فيها بأنها تريد أن ترفع أو تقوم بتحقيق نمو على قطاعي النفط والغاز بين 2 ل 3%. هذا يقودنا إلى سؤال: أنتم كنتم من أكثر الشركات من حيث الربحية، والبعض يقول أنها كانت بسبب ما يسمى ب bold investments، أقل ما يكون يعني هي ربما مخاطرة، يعني كنتم قد دخلتم إلى مناطق وقطاعات مهمة. اليوم في الاستثمارية الجديدة على أي القطاعات بما يسمى بخليط الطاقة ستركزون؟
Yes, we have announced that we'll increase our oil and gas. We like oil and gas. You know, it's an oil and gas company which is also diversifying to electricity and renewables. But our core business is oil and gas because it is the energy of today. We focus first on LNG. We just discussed LNG. We have one of the top 3 players in the LNG of the world, in particular our largest US exporter. We have a big gas capacity in Europe. We believe of the future of LNG because gas, natural gas, is one of the energy of the transition. If we want to back out coal, and there will be discussions at COP28 in Dubai, natural gas has a role to play in China, in India. So natural gas and oil as well, and oil in particular in the Middle East. You know, in 2023, we have increased our footprint here in Abu Dhabi by acquiring a new concession of Saab Lulu, and we have launched large projects in Iraq. This is why we are considered as bold. But in Iraq, I think it's honestly, we like the Middle East. Why? Because this is the area where you can produce the oil with a lower cost, $5 per barrel. So it's why we are the most profitable, because TotalEnergies is the company with the largest footprint in the Middle East, where you can produce the cheapest oil. So at the end, it's a way to make profit. So there is nothing bold. It's just looking to where we can have develop, again, affordable oil for the customer.
ذكرت الاستثمار في أبوظبي، ذكرت الاستثمار والمشروع الكبير الذي تقومون به بالعراق، أنتم أيضا موجودون في لبنان، موجودون في مصر، أين هي المناطق الأخرى التي تنظر إليها توتال، يعني الخريطة الجغرافية؟
By the way, I'm flying tomorrow to Doha to inaugurate the North Field expansion with the Emir of Qatar. So, you know, we have also a big lion's place in the expansion in Qatar. So, you know, we have just announced this year as well a very large petrochemical project, Amira, with Saudi Aramco, with Aramco, where we are working on some of them, on some gas projects. So, I mean, we have in Middle East and North Africa as well. You mentioned Lebanon, it's exploration. So exploration, let's make the well, we'll see what we'll find. We are exploring in Cyprus. We have also developed a large position in Libya in the recent years and Algeria. So, you know, Total is born in the Middle East. We are born in 1924 in Iraq. We come back in 2023 in Iraq, which is a long history. Next year is our 100-year anniversary.
دعني أنهي أنا وإياك بكوب 28. الجميع ينتظر أجندة كوب 28 وما هي المخرجات التي ستكون اليوم. الرئيس المعين الدكتور سلطان الجابر أعلن بأنه هناك عمل، هناك أكثر من 20 شركة في الطاقة التقليدية هي تدعم التوجه لإنهاء الانبعاثات ل 2050. ما هو موقفك من ذلك؟ هل أنتم ضمن هذه ال20 شركة؟ أنا بعرف أنه أنتم عندكم مخطط ضمن توتال لإنهاء غاز الميثاني ب 80% تقريبا بحلول العام تقريبا 2030. ما هي الخطة وكيف ترى كوب 28 قادر على جلب هذا القطاع المهم جدا ليكون جزء من الحل ربما قائد له؟
Yes, TotalEnergies is one of the 20 supporters of the global acceleration platform that Dr. Sultan is promoting. I hope that much more companies, oil and gas companies, will join because it's very important. This is a roadmap. I think, you know, we know that oil and gas will be necessary for the energy of the world. So the first pillar of TotalEnergies strategy, we need to slash down all the emissions when we produce oil and gas. We need to produce oil and gas in a different way. We can eliminate the emissions. Let's be serious. Total wants to decrease it by 40% between 2015 and 2030. Methane, yes, methane is natural gas. You know, we are a big promoter of natural gas, so slashing down methane emissions, we can do it. We have the technology. We need to focus on it. And in the company, I said to my colleagues, look, we are aiming for zero fatalities. We must aim for zero methane. This is the conditions to be able to continue to deploy and to develop our natural gas strategy. So this is possible. Yesterday we discussed, and I was able to, I'm happy to announce to Senator John Kerry, the Secretary, Climate Secretary from the US, that we are ready to join a special methane fund and to contribute for $25 million to this fund. I think it's very important that the oil and gas industry will engage in this fight against emissions. And then the other part of the transition is to invest in clean energy. TotalEnergies, we became TotalEnergies because we are developing a new business in the electricity based on renewable and gas-fired power plant, fixed batteries, in order to be a new business for TotalEnergies. This year we'll make $2 billion out of electricity. We target $4 billion in 5 years, so it's a huge growth. And I want also, so we need to engage, I think, the oil and gas companies. I'm convinced. We have everything. We have the engineers, the technologies, the money. We must be part of the transition. So I'm very happy that we will be participating constructively, not to obstruct anything. We are there to contribute positively to the transition. This is my ambition as CEO of TotalEnergies.
شكرا جزيلا لك الرئيس التنفيذي لتوتال انرجي باتريك بويانيه على وجودك معنا اليوم.